Hey guys, if you like the Dirt Block, consider becoming a member at humanechoes.com. Members get exclusive access to the awesome bonus podcast. A whole hour of comedy and wacky insight with Al, Joe, and Tony. Click the link in the description to find out more.
I haven't actually looked at my statistics on here in a long time. I bet there's some pretty weird stuff on there. Maybe not weird, just kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do they have, like, number of blocks of dirt mined?
Games quit, minutes played since last death, sneak time, distance walked, crouched, sprinted, swum, fallen, climbed, flown.
With elytra wings?
I have not flown 15 kilometers.
Oh, maybe you fall 15 kilometers.
Fallen is a different one, though. Dove is one. I don't know what that is. Minecart, boat, pig, horse. There's a elytra. Jumps, items dropped, damage dealt, taken, number of deaths. That's interesting. I kind of want to compare those. Mobs killed, animals bred, player kills, fish caught, junk fish, treasure fish, talk to villagers, traded with villagers. Oh, this keeps going. Cake eaten, cauldrons filled, water taken from cauldrons. This is so weird. Armor pieces cleaned, banners cleaned, interactions with brewing stand, interactions with beacon, droppers searched, hoppers searched, dispensers searched. Note blocks played, note blocks tuned, plants potted, trapped chests triggered, entered chests opened, items enchanted, records played, interactions with furnace, interactions with crafting table, chest opened, and times slept in a bed. And that's
Here's
just
a question.
General.
When that chest blew up on the previous Let's Play, was that possible that was a trap chest?
Well, I guess it's
know.
possible in the sense that all things are possible.
It's possible someone was trolling us. It's possible.
I mean, John Jones has had the sting of defeat 2 episodes ago when his dynamite did not blow up as planned.
Yeah, that's very possible, and that is in the usable
Tony
area.
has the sting of defeat because of his issues that he's having with gout.
It's not gout.
The stingy feet.
Tony, I couldn't remember it, and I was going for the pun. All right, you need to cut me some slack,
Learn to rhyme.
some slack, some slork.
No, don't cut him that. Here's my thing. If they do that "are you being abused" thing to everyone,
all right. Can you back up and like give some? I understand that you know what you're talking about, and maybe many listeners of the Dirt Block know what you're talking about. However, who's they, and what's that? "Are you being abused" thing?
So on the podcast, Tony was talking about his doctor visit for his feet, and at the doctor, they brought in a slip of paper that said, "If you are being abused, circle this."
Yeah.
Or something like that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, if they do that then you guys debated whether or not that was brought on because of how Tony looked, or if that was just something they do in general. But if they do that to everyone in general, it defeats the purpose, because then the abuser knows to watch for them bringing in sheets of paper with silent questions on them.
I don't.
Oh, it's like hidden with the insurance paperwork. What if they just she just hands the...
Oh!
A moment of silence for Joe.
Dag nabbit.
It's like inside.
What is hitting me? I cannot see. Like, seriously, what the fuck is hitting me?
Are you starving to death?
No, I've got almost full food. There are like 7 zombies, but none of them were actually touching me.
Yay!
What?
Oh, it's your dog.
Why did you shoot him?
He teleported to me while I was shooting a zombie, and I had to murder his dog.
That's terrible, Tony. How cruel are you?
Guys, fight each other, please. Please fight each other.
I think we just did
Please.
For Al's amusement.
Please fight each other.
Hey, Al, you need to watch...
Please, please, please.
You need to watch Green Room, Al.
Yeah?
They've got a proper
I know
rear
I
naked
do.
choke. Yeah, it was like good grip and everything.
I'd really like to not die right this second.
Oh, that's not going to happen.
Thank you.
We've been doing a lot of chokeholds in Dwarf Fortress.
I have. Although I
mention you
finally
every
had
time.
somebody like actually resist one. Although I thought that was like the perfect move, but then I like went to choke him and he like threw me off.
Well, they say they're going to resist it, but they usually don't.
Who does?
Nothing.
If they can say it to you, that doesn't seem very stealthy, Tony. Adam alert? Code Adam?
Tony now knows about the abuser thing. That's
Yeah. We have to use... Al, you have to signal your abuse to me in a different way. This hole. No, all my stuff. Ugh. All right.
I like how whenever you die by a
these.
creeper on the dirt block, they at least have a grave dug for you.
Yes.
Who does?
Joe and his pile of bones.
Oh, the creeper digs a grave. I got you.
They're at least polite like that.
That would be nice if like that would really attract more people to the grave digging profession if you could do it with dynamite.
What happened? You got your own dug while you died?
No, I said it would attract more people to the grave digging profession. It would also make funerals more exciting.
If it was done with Dino Suicide Bomber?
Not suicide bomber, but it's like, all right, it's time to inter the dearly deceased or whatever. Boom.
I feel like that could be
Guys are-
arranged.
Yeah, didn't
Hunter
Hunter
S.
S.
Thompson
Thompson do
shot
that?
his ashes out of a fist-shaped cannon into the night. Johnny Depp was there.
Yes. Of course. Johnny Depp is everywhere.
He was wearing a
They
hat.
probably snorted some of those ashes.
Yes.
Even then, he was wearing the Jack Sparrow hat.
Probably.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I was more envisioning like a scally cap than that, but
The Jack Sparrow hat.
Yeah.
he played a pirate.
Captain Jack
That's
Sparrow,
more-
the pirate played by Johnny
parrot
Depp.
played by him.
That he won't
Yeah,
stop
I know who
talking.
he is. I'm trying to mention a hat.
It's the tricorn hat. Yeah, it's part of his ensemble, his effects. It's like his whole
More
deal.
picturing just without the
Didn't
hat.
he like lose the hat and it was a
He
key
has
plot
that-
point in one of the movies? Like he chased it to World's End or something.
Did he?
I think he's
making things
in
up.
World's End and the hat. Something happens with the hat, but he's just hallucinating. I don't remember a lot about those movies.
Yeah, me either.
That's one of those things where you can kind of tell the movie wasn't that good if you can't remember that much about it, but I still sort of liked
Yeah.
them.
I enjoyed the first one, and then by like
Everybody hates the second two. I thought the fourth one was just abominable, but the second two, I thought there was a lot of cool world building in, and it just sort of didn't
but it was
grip
just
me as
gibberish
much.
in the end.
There's some
It was
cool
just like-
effects.
It was a
but
lot. It was very. I don't think it was gibberish, but I think it was too complicated. Like
I think it was
everybody had some kind of weird, different motivation, and they weren't able to be real clear about who it was, and it was
Yes,
always
hence
changing.
gibberish.
Yeah, but that's not. Like you're making it. They knew what they were doing. If you sit down with a piece of paper, you could map it out. It just wasn't compelling
I
enough.
doubt that highly. And I'm pretty sure at the end someone just shows up for no reason and it's like, oh, that guy's here. And there's all this big fight. No, I disagree. Show me the map, Albert, and I'll believe you.
You know what? I will do that. I will sit down and
Okay.
draw out like the character arc of everybody in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies because I like those movies. But I can't defend. I mean, despite the fact that I think that there is a logical sense to it, I don't think there's a good story sense to it. Meaning that even if you can defend, like, well, here you can clearly say that this is why he did that. If you have to sit down and write it out, it's probably not good storytelling.
It's not great.
so you're
storytelling.
saying Primer wasn't?
But the first one,
Primer, I think, is very clear with its character motivations. The plot points aren't as important in Primer. You can understand what's going on in Primer without understanding what's going on.
yes. I also was going to say that is also true for the first one, except it manages to still fly. The first one's thoroughly enjoyable. And there's definitely, like Tony was saying, some of the visuals and just the stuff they threw at the screen was awesome, but without some sense of what on earth is
I
happening.
just
I
really,
get a little
really
lost.
dislike the fourth one. Like, I got some enjoyment
I
out
don't
of
ever-
the
I don't
first
even know
three,
which-
the trilogy, but the fourth one felt like Cars 2 to me.
Was that the one where they came back after a long
Yeah,
hiatus?
yeah. So the first,
And we're like, well, I'll make another one.
yeah, it was the one where I remember nothing from that. Where Jack Sparrow comes
I don't
back
even think I
and
saw it.
does the whole thing with the Fountain of Youth. It's so lame.
Does he find
The
it?
only good thing in there was like, yes, he does. The design on the mermaids. I mean, spoilers. Sorry, that's less than 30 years ago.
There are mermaids,
There were mermaids, and he
Spoilers.
finds the Fountain of Youth eventually.
and the design is good.
The mermaid, the idea behind the mermaids was cool, but nothing about that movie was compelling at all.
I keep hearing things about this.
was
Like
the-
I think it's a Taiwanese movie about
Little
mermaids that looks kind of insane.
I've heard good things about that also.
I wish I knew the title.
It's called The Mermaid.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's easy.
Please be the title. It's called The Bus That Couldn't Slow Down. It's called
What is that from?
That's The Simpsons. Except he says the word speed like 6 times in his description. remember I saw this movie once about this bus that had to speed everywhere, and if its speed ever dropped below the speed of 55, it would blow up. I think it was called The Bus That Couldn't Slow Down. What is the mermaid design? I have to know.
The mermaids are, so they look like, mermaids, but they're basically sirens. So they're a combination of like the sort of, they pull you in with their songs, and then they have like giant razor sharp teeth. They're sort of like siren shark things.
So,
what did you think of the mermaids in Cabin in the Woods?
They were basically the same idea there.
Is that pretty similar? Yeah.
Except maybe less ugly, more ugly. I think the mermaids in the Cabin in the Woods are more monstrous. The ones in, whatever they called that movie, the fourth one that I really didn't like, were a lot more... Man, I'm so tempted to punch these now.
well, if you decide to, I've got 2 more, and you need to just let us get it on film.
For those of you who don't know, those explode. If you didn't watch last week's Dirt Block.
Oh my god.
Tony failed to disclose that to us at the beginning. That he installed highly volatile nuclear reactors on the dirt
Test decorations.
just because they looked
into
good.
the Dirt Block.
Well, I was just thinking, like, somebody's going to walk up to those and be like, we should place those higher. They'd look better higher. And just punch it and then be flown off the dirt block.
And from what you said, like, a good 3/4 of the dirt block would disappear, too, with the explosion.
It's not quite,
You made it
it's not quite that big, but it is pretty damn big.
We have to save this map when we're done with the dirt block. Let John Jones strategically place dynamite and blow it up, and then it'll look like the partially built Death Star in Return of the Jedi.
Could do that.
Hovering over our lands.
Just have a nice little backup.
Is it going to actually look like the Death Star, or is it going to look like the dirt block
Death Star.
but Death Star...
Well, that's the joke.
What?
Okay, first you'll maneuver down this trench.
Right? Yeah. You turned off your targeting computer. Something wrong?
Luke, you've turned off your targeting computer. Yeah, mermaids are fun. I just wanted to, that image in my head is...
They had that same
have a plan,
version in the
actually.
live-action Peter Pan, didn't they? Of mermaids?
Yeah. I mean, I think in the book it's pretty... The mermaids in Peter Pan are a little terrifying.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're quite full. I would imagine that's possibly where some of the seed for those versions of mermaids come from, where they're not like, oh, we are mer people, and we are... They're just like flat-out monsters that people think are mermaids.
They look like people, but they will rip you apart, and they have basic...
Yeah.
Like, they have enough consciousness to try to trick you into thinking that they're people, but not much else in terms of humanity.
Yeah, and Peter Pan, they aren't monstrous, but they aren't good. Like, they'll be like, yeah, come on down with us, and then, like, just hold on to you and kill you.
Did you ever read those Peter Pan books that Dave Barry wrote with, I want to say Ridley Scott? Not Ridley Scott.
No, I did not read those.
The first couple were great.
The only Peter Pan book I ever read was from Brom, The Child Thief. Yeah.
Really? I've heard of none of these.
Peter
Pan
Dave
is
Barry,
quite ubiquitous.
despite it being which he had, there was some great moments of humor in there, but this is sort of spins out this great fantasy prequel world to Peter Pan that really works. I know people don't like prequels. It's like, oh, you over-explained it, but like they sort of introduce new mythology stuff as well. Like this creepy thing that like explains how Peter lost his shadow, because there's this shadow thief. In fact, that's the title of the book, the Peter Pan the Shadow Thief. There's this like grim...
Isn't that what Tony just
No,
said?
The Child Thief. He was going Code Adam.
Oh.
This like grim reaper looking thing comes, and like if it touches your shadow, it can steal it. And at least I remember it being
And then
pretty
what?
cool.
Then you just don't have a shadow? Is there any lasting, larger implications?
Well, your shadow is
think
your
there
soul,
were.
so he's
It's
just...
been a long time since I read them. The last one ended up with like some weird steampunk rocket ship, and that wasn't like I realized that sounds like the kind of thing I would like, but the story wasn't as good.
Interesting. What was the one in yours, Tony?
what was different about it?
What was the
It was
story?
ju-
What was the story in yours? Or
Essentially, a kid gets pulled into Neverland and has to fight off a bunch of people with Peter Pan, but they're very twisted Lovecraftian style pirates. And Peter Pan is just a straight up murderer who kills kids when they get too old to be on his island.
yeah, that's pretty standard to some
There's
degree.
some things that are standard about it, but it was a good book. It was fun.
It has become standard. It's kind of like Cthulhu now, right? Where he's just sort of mainstream. That idea that Peter Pan kills the kids. I think
Yeah.
it's
This one, he didn't kill very many of the kids, like, unless they really deserved it. But he also went and got, like, junkies and stuff like that. Like, just a lot of dregs of society kids and all that. Which I guess the Lost Boys were always that.
He doesn't kill, actually, in the original. I mean, but it's not everyone lives and is happy by any means. People are dying left and right.
In this one, the main difference
in the battle
is that Hook is actually kind of a good guy.
Oh, that's the... Okay, I think I've heard of this telling.
Well, doesn't that always, like, the twist with all these reimaginings of Peter Pan?
Probably.
Well, I think maybe this is the... I think that's the... If I'm piecing my memories together correctly, which God knows if I am, that's like that was one of the original ones to do that twist, full-on writing it up. I mean, twist, that's always... Yes, that's wicked, and that's... whatever, etc., to take these fairy tales, but really the villain was the good guy. But I think the book Tony is explaining did it pretty early on in the Peter Pan.
And mainly the reason why he became the good guy is he was so tired of being the bad guy. He just wanted to die, but he couldn't because he was in Neverland.
Oh yeah. So then he was like, all right, I'll do some.
Yeah, he just started becoming like this twisted monster over time, like physically and mentally, and just wanted to die.
Speaking of Lovecraftian stuff, I mentioned in the previous Dirt Block I've been reading Swamp Thing.
Yes.
There is some messed up imagery in that book. Like, it's a comic book from the 80s, and so there's not anything sort of a main run. I think is it DC? I don't even remember.
I thought it was Dark Horse, but it might be DC.
No, it's one of the big two. It's definitely DC because early on in the, Superman and Flash and those guys show up as sort of cameos in one of the stories. But, it's... Like, I could read it to my kids. There's not, like, swearing or, explicit imagery or anything like that. Except for the utterly messed up monsters that are in that book. Because there is some imagery that freaked me out. I looked at it, I was like, what is that guy's face is like... There's this dude who's a plant, right? So the deal is that, Swamp Thing is a plant-based creature.
The ideal.
What?
The ideal.
The idea.
I'm sick of these swamp creatures. Unrealistic ideals.
And of course, generally you have, if there's a guy that has a power, he has a villain that has the same power. So in the first part of the run, he goes up against a guy whose name I forget, but is also sort of a plant-type man. And that guy has spray-on skin that he can spray on himself and pass as human. But
I hope his name is Plant Man.
It's not the Plant Man.
Damn it.
It's something weird. He has spray on skin, but he kind of like goes crazy and he sort of like connects to the earth, and the earth is like sick of being, exploited by man or whatever, and it sort of uses him.
The earth shouldn't dress like that then.
Earth had it coming.
Okay, wow. That's
so I'm in dirt block laying mode, which I think is a...
Yeah, it's a little bit of a zen state as we exploit the world around us.
Anyway, ultimately the Swamp Thing comes in and sort of tries to save the day, but the guy runs away, as I am doing from the skeleton right now. The guy runs away and he's like, oh, go back to my ship, and like Superman and I think... That wasn't the Flash, it was Green Lantern show up, and they're like, what's going on down here? There's some kind of weird thing. Because they've found out about the Swamp Thing, and he's sort of gone on the rampage a little bit in that story for reasons. Everybody should read this book, by the way. This guy tries to spray his skin back on, but he's, like, started to grow. Like, his plant stuff has started to grow, and he's kind of unhinged, and he just sprays the skin on over top of it, and his face has just all these like weird skin spikes coming out of it, and there's the shot of him like smiling up at Superman and Green Lantern and being like, hi guys, I'm normal just like you, I do things like men do, and they're looking at him like, what is wrong with you? And like the whole the frame is set up like it's just shattering, like pieces of the frame are breaking apart. It's a great book.
And it's written by Alan Moore, so if you liked Watchmen...
I was going to say, that imagery sounded... I was going to say who wrote it, because that sounded Alan Moore-ish.
He did a great job. He sort of recontextual... Again, I don't want to give anything away if people haven't heard of it, although as is my want, I heard the whole deal behind it, and I was like, that sounds like something I want. But if you want to sort of come into it fresh, the first couple issues where they sort of describe what's going on with the thing, he kind of retcons some stuff that's going on. And I am not going out into the dirt laying area right now. But the way, even knowing how it was coming, the way he lays it out, and it sort of explains what's going on is just incredible.
Wasn't there an old cartoon show of the Swamp Thing?
I know they made a movie of it that wasn't very good, from what I hear.
Didn't you guys watch it?
Nope. Oh, we could?
We could.
Creature of the Black Lagoon is what you watched.
Yeah,
right?
we also haven't done Toxic Avenger or anything like that. That's in the same vein.
Well, I think October needs to be a theme month again. That's what I was saying earlier.
Toxic Avenger is trauma. Do you really want to get into the trauma-verse, Tony?
Not really.
I mean,
I've heard Toxic Avenger is pretty good, but I've never seen it. We're probably going to end up watching Tromeo and Juliet at some point because of November, because of Viewers' Choice Month.
When does the actual vote? When do we need to think about actually setting up the voting block?
It's in October, was when we set up have submissions, right?
Yep. Submissions are the first 2 weeks, and then the last 2 weeks, people are voting.
That's changed then.
Yes, because October was we did it the first time in October because Joe told us to, and I was just mad because we were doing the Prime Horror Month, and all I could watch was bad musicals. Which I know that bad and musical are pretty much synonymous, but still, it's just not fair.
But this year it was September last year then, because you did Marvel's.
No, we did we did the theme month last year.
Yeah. Yes.
Universal Monster.
But they were voting during the theme month for the stuff.
No. Yes, they were.
It was August. I'm positive the voting was in August.
The first year was.
So we did it early?
This year.
I think you're going crazy. I think you had a stroke 2 hours ago.
I mean, that's definitely possible.
Or we had Viewers' Choice Month in September, and voting was in August, and then we did October as the theme month?
I guess it could have been that. We could have done it early, but I thought it was later.
We do have access to a way to find out, but...
We do.
What is going on? Why is my screen shaking everywhere? Why?
What?
Why?
I look forward to cutting to Tony's screen and nothing happening right here.
No, I keep getting stuck on invisible blocks.
Oh, I've had a little bit of a lag problem
crazy.
also.
Yes, that's rough. Agreed.
Unless I'm just gliding across the world thinking I'm stuck, which could happen.
Also, yes, I've not had that happen. Oh, I guess I've never seen myself from the outside while that annoying block glitch is happening. Perfect.
So, Al, if you could make a spoof of any upcoming movie for the Asylum, what would it be?
A spoof or a mockbuster?
Like a straight-up spoof, like what they're doing with Avengers Grimm and stuff like that.
Okay, those aren't spoofs, though.
All right, so is that a mockbuster?
I realize that they're bad. Yeah, that's a mockbuster. That's where you're taking a movie, coming up with a similar title, and doing your own spin on it? Okay. Just so we're on the same terms here. I know a lot of people think of them as spoofs.
They're similar, but not the same. I get what you're saying.
Again, they have Ghost Hunters, which from what I can tell is someone just doing the best they can to make a horror movie.
I want you to be able to rip off any property you want and just make it your own story, preferably poorly, on a $1 million budget.
Okay, now I'm gonna have to log. So Joe, are you back in the thing yet?
Yes. What are you logging out for?
I
was gonna look for what movies are coming up because I.
Oh, okay.
It can also be recent movies too, if you don't want to have to search too hard.
Just build yourself into the wall. When do you guys think you reviewed Pitch Perfect?
September.
Yep.
Now that I think about it.
So when do you think voting was?
October.
Never mind, that was less fun.
So August is when. Wait a minute. So we need to be really pushing for Viewers' Choice Month.
No, because we're pushing Viewers' Choice Month a month.
No, I think we can make September Viewers' Choice Month.
Another business meeting.
The question is, do we want to make it a 5 month, a 5 Friday month, or how do we want to do that? Because people seem to really like Viewers' Choice Month, but it's not so much fun for me. 3 weeks in, I'm okay, and then 4th and 5th, it's oh god.
You got that space movie that was supposed to be pretty good. Some people actually pick movies they just want you to see.
Yeah, also. We did get Candyman out of it.
Yeah, and the Danger Will Robinson. Lost in Space. Wasn't that in?
Nope. We haven't done Lost in Space.
Then the other one. The one that's very Lost in Space-ish, but... Oh, hell. Do you guys watch the podcast?
I couldn't tell.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
we're on it and we edit it.
You edited it twice. Or you live it twice. Hang on, now I have to.
Okay, my first choice is Alice Through the Looking Glass. I would just 100% make a like $1 million version of that. That I would love to do. I know that's an old one. The Asylum version of Tarzan I think could be amazing. That's public domain.
You could almost make that like better than their version, like just a lot less CGI. Make like an actual grounded Tarzan story.
I don't think you could. Again, better is sort of a weird thing, but
just get a bunch of guys in suits; it'll be better.
Not crap.
And then
is
my
that better?
third choice would be Pete's Dragon, and we would just call it like,
oh my god,
that would be Pop's bizarre. Dragon or something.
You wouldn't want to try like your hand at Swiss Army Man.
No, that's not the point. You want to have a big title.
I know. I was just thinking about it. Finlandish Army.
You want to have a big, preferably something that looks bad title coming up that's also preferably in the public domain, or that you can sort of title very, very similarly.
Yeah.
I can't believe they didn't do Tarzan.
Yeah, actually. Yes. Or Jungle Book. Did they do Jungle Book?
No, they didn't.
I think maybe because they don't really do family-friendly ones, do they?
No, they do. They have, oh man, they have like, I don't know if it's on their website anymore as the first trailer. If you go to theasylum.cc, their website, it plays their, sort of upcoming trailers automatically, and they had a Finding Dory ripoff, which just looked so bad.
Was it a cartoon?
Yeah, it was CG.
Wow.
It was,
what are the chances we'll have to watch Food Fight? I think.
Oh my god.
Oh, I will look forward to that.
You say that, but it's so... I've watched
about 10 minutes of it, and I was just like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm tapping out.
Stop laughing. It's so bad, and it's so weird and bad, and the uncanny valleys everywhere, and it's just... Wow. Forbidden Planet is what I was going for.
Forbidden Planet.
Forbidden Planet.
Oh, that's great, yes. And it had Robbie the Robot in it. You're right, Danger Will Robinson.
Yes.
I understand where that reference was coming from now. I don't think we made very much Lost in Space references, but sure.
Says the guy who can't remember the podcast from last week.
Last week was Carnage Park. When we're recording this, by the way, I realize when this comes out. By the way, when this comes out, so if August is going to be viewers, when people are nominated for Viewers' Choice Month, we should make a push here.
Yeah, we have to figure that out. Well-timed accident.
If you want us to review a movie,
this was no boating accident
that we would not normally review, or that we have not yet reviewed,
or if you want to make a push for something that we really, really should review.
Yes, the Human Echoes podcast each year does Viewers' Choice Month.
People have been saving up various suggestions for... The core fans have lists of things they want you to watch and subject you to, and I forget them now, but I think they have... They're in various notebooks around the country and the world. There are people with lists of movies that are just... make Tony cry.
Some of them make me cry. There are some that I just like... If it's just like overly offensive...
I was less squeamish about Rocky Horror than Al was. I was definitely trying to drink myself stupid, but I wasn't like as squeamish about it.
It was not my jam, I will admit.
You like that song?
I love the song. Yeah, just like my straight white self was not. Well, I mean, I guess whiteness doesn't have anything to do with it.
No, why you gotta be white?
My heterosexualness was not in tune with that movie. That movie was like, how about not that? And I'm like, how about that actually?
And you didn't have the solace of alcohol.
I did not.
Shortest summation of Rocky Horror Picture Show ever.
How about not heterosexuality?
How about not that? How about that? So are we going to put that together for August, or do you guys want to wait for November?
No, I think we have...
I like the idea of having it roll into September again, because I think September is a 5 Friday month, and that gives a lot of chances for us to review some crazy stuff.
I also like sort of the summer's end. Sort of feels like voting time to me.
Yeah, we'll have our own election before the real election.
So look on humanechoes.com. There will be a post going up where you can make your nominations, and then those nominations will get collated together, and people can vote on them in the final 2 weeks of August. That is how that will work. And John Jones, I'm sure, has something he has...
That Pippi, that's one of the more
Pippi on the Run
things.
was just a great experience all around.
Yeah, that video campaign and everything else was just one of the most surreal things I've ever been part of.
Yes.
I didn't actually mind that movie either. I got to watch that with my kid, and it was just like, oh, this is just sort of a bizarre kids movie from the 80s. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't quite like Peanut Butter Solution, but it was definitely bizarre.
I have to think about what I'm nominating.
We should have forced Joe to watch Peanut Butter Solution.
Technically, you can't force me to watch anything. I haven't committed to a podcast.
Yeah, you're always like, that's your guys' product, not mine.
Yep.
Stretch goals.
Not my yes, if we get a certain number of votes, I'll do something.
I was going to say, if we get 20 new members in August.
How about the number
Joe
one voted...
Joe will be on the podcast.
The number one voted movie for Viewers' Choice Month you have to watch and be on the show for.
If we hit a stretch goal.
All right.
We'll figure that out.
We'll figure out the details.
All right, well, that's it for the Dirt Block. We ending with an ad. Thanks for watching and listening to our advertisement.
Look, I have all this dirt now.
Yeah, I've got like a mountain of dirt.
Joe talked to us about being strict on time. It's 32 minutes
your
in.
idea.
No, was it?
It's a group idea. We all decided to be stricter on time.
All right. You guys
I wanted
win.
to make new videos that were different.
You're different. Nailed it.
Humor here over here.
Bringing back the Venn diagram.